Gotta go. All right. Well, good good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. All right. Anita Caprice, Anita C. Powell, Anita, however you want to, is here on this day. And I'm here representing the role of rare disease advocate. And why rare disease advocate? Simply because I'm a mom and it's because of love. Today, what I was going to talk about was just share some information about the Orphan Drug Act and the importance of clinical trials with all diseases, but specifically rare disease and even more focused scleroderma. All right, I decided not to because yesterday, and first of all, welcome if you're on, I'm on Zoom, so I can't see the Facebook actually. But if you're here with me, thank you so much for your energy, for your love and support. If you watch the replay, thank you for your energy and your love and support. I decided to talk about another subject. I'll speak on the Orphan Drug Act and clinical trials at another time because I'm going to be doing this either every other Tuesday. I'm doing this Tuesday because that's the day my daughters were born. Um, but today I'm going to talk about scleroderma, give you some information about that. And the reason why I thought that is because yesterday I've been doing background work, researching for a while, both Sjogren's and scleroderma. Well, and researching and doing this solo, you finding information and you're recording information, however, on tape recorder, writing it down, keeping a file. I have a file of everything. Well, yesterday I decided to make some phone calls and to just check and get as much information as I can. Well, praise God. I spoke with some people who, some sisters who were very supporting and very kind and patient with me because I'm new at this. And I shared, I said, forgive me if my language is off, forgive me, and you guys forgive me if I'm not the orator, or I'm flowing as I should, because instead of me waiting to get perfect or to get better to speak, I'd rather do it and make the mistakes and do what I need to, do what I need to do, and just trust that people understand. So anyway, I was speaking with them and I was led to different sites, but what I found out was that there's not a lot of information as far as clinical trial studies and even database information for rare diseases, and specifically scleroderma. This 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 rare disease, it's a very serious rare disease. It's an autoimmune connective tissue and rheumatic disease. What it does, it affects the skin, the organs, the skin, the heart, the lung, and the kidney. Okay, it can have dramatic effects on the skin, change colors and different things like that. It What it is, an immune system. What it does is the body is always like saying the body attacks the body. We have our warrior cells that protect the foreign invaders. I mean, that protect us from foreign invaders enter into our body, and these warrior cells, they go and go after them. Well, when a system is compromised, caused or dysregulated, then those warrior cells begin to start attacking the good cells. And with scleroderma, when we heal, there's a scar. A scar represents that we're healing. We know that. What happens with scleroderma is that the healing continues, meaning the collagen comes out. It's more, so it provides an overabundance of collagen. And what that does, it creates scarring on lungs. It creates scarring on our heart, on our skin, scarring tight, real tight, and our kidneys. That can be very serious. That can be fibrosis. That's scarring on your lung. And what happens is just that the scarring, just the healing just continues. So now the scar, it builds up, and with the blood vessels and different things like that. How scleroderma, it takes a while for it to be diagnosed. It's not a disease, um, where, and it's called scleroderma disease. However, it's more, for me, it's more of a disorder, because a disorder is one of those where it's not easily diagnosed. A disorder, it becomes a disease once it's been diagnosed. However, it takes a while for it to be diagnosed. And with my loved one, it can with the fingers, it's Raynaud's. It's a Raynaud's disease. What happens is the circulation doesn't go to your fingers when it's a cool temperature. Um, it involves a whole village. Like we say, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to treat a someone who has been diagnosed with scleroderma. It takes a rheumatologist, a dermatologist, a pulmonologist, a gastroenterologist, a cardiologist. It requires these doctors to work as a team, and because each patient is unique, this scleroderma is really something. I mean, we're gonna say that's a sister she ain't playing. All right. So it takes a team, and each patient is different. It is affected differently. So then it requires a tailor-made treatment plan for that patient. Now I want to go get to some things. Who gets scleroderma? Everyone can get it, adult or child. However, it mainly affects women from the age of, some people say 30, but more. I've read more, so I want to keep the time, because I said I only want like 10 to 15 minutes for these lectures. It's women from 30, some say 30 to 50, some say 40 to 50. Okay, that's when it usually appears. It can affect all races. However, it can affect the African American, the Black race, more adversely. Okay, it's more severely. And what's going on now with saying all of that, with scleroderma, because it affects the Black community, and although it's still rare, because I believe it said it's 30 people in a million, the population, that from what I read. So it's rare, and that makes it even more difficult, because is it on the medical insurance list? How expensive are the treatments, because it's rare. We're going to get into that on another lecture. However, I just read something last night, because I'm constantly looking for stuff. I read last night that the clinical trial studies are mainly conducted on with European descent. So whites are white ethnic, or that 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 race of people, group of people, and there needs to be more clinical trial studies for Blacks to be able to participate, to get an idea, because they were saying the genome and the mitochondria and the DNA genetic makeup is different. Well, we all know that. So, but then it's not, those studies are not being conducted so much right now. So when I read that, I said, okay, I know what I want to start coming to focus on as well, because it's important. I mean, you can have a clinical trial study, but if it has nothing to do with a group of people that needs, that needs that information for a treatment plan, it's not going to help. It's going to help the group of people that it's tailored for, but we need the clinical trial studies now need to be tailored for the African American, for the Black person. Okay. There are levels, there are stages of scleroderma. There are types, I should say types. Let me get this right. There are types of scleroderma. There's localized, where it just affects, I shouldn't say just, because there's nothing just about scleroderma. It affects the skin and the underlying tissue. Okay, there's systemic, and within the systemic, there's diffuse, and there's limited cutaneous, and it's also called, what was that other? What I'm looking at? It's also called systemic sclerosis, uh, scoliosis, and crest. I think it's the crest, so that might be with Sjogren. But anyway, I see the time that's coming. There's diffuse, there's localized scleroderma, there's systemic sclerosis, or systemic scleroderma. In the localized scleroderma, there's morphia and there's linear, linear straight, straight. But then with the systemic, there's limited cutaneous being, it affects limited parts of the body. And then you have diffuse. Diffuse is the one that affects every part of your body and those vital organs that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so those are the types, and the symptoms can are very, like I said, because it depends on the person that has been diagnosed. So I'm just here. I want to share information if anyone has any information, and also to invite anyone with an autoimmune disease, disorder, condition, syndrome into the autoimmunity. I have it's a very private, safe space for us to share thoughts. I try to provide as much information as I can as far as, just foods, even vagal nerve, just different types of stuff, that I think that we can all, benefit from it. And I invite you. So it's autoimmunity, and I named it because immunity means protected. I'm immune from that kind of stuff. So it's like a play on words that we are automatically immune to this, to what's going on. You know what I mean? So that almost like a consciousness of healing, if you will. I'm just playing as a poet. I'm playing on words. But if you'd like to be part of this family community, we'd love, welcome, and embrace you. Absolutely. Um, yeah, so that I just wanted to share that information. I'm just trying to make sure I have everything. I said everything that I wanted to say regarding scleroderma. If you like to be an advocate, a voice with me, oh, I'd love that. I'd love that. I am anticipating wanting to have lectures with our sisters and brothers who would like to participate in just sharing information about the different autoimmune disease, disorder, condition, syndrome that they have, just to increase awareness in the community, because it starts with that, even with the clinical trial. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to share. With the research, I found many clinical trials throughout the globe that that have been begun, completed, still recruiting. However, when I went to, and bless her heart, one of the doctors at the Dearborn, Ann Arbor, not Dearborn, U of M Ann Arbor, she shared with me there's a Washington site called clinicaltrials.gov if you ever want to research something as far as what clinical trials have been conducted, which ones are current, which ones have been completed, and the results. That's the Washington base. And when I went on that was another reason I want to talk about scleroderma. That's right. When I went on the Washington base site yesterday, I found one clinical study that currently recruiting, and that's it's a good thing. I printed it out. However, I did not see any of the clinical trials that I've seen, like FT011. That's to help with the fibrosis, the scarring of the lungs, the phototherapy that can help reduce reduce the tightening of the skin. I've written down about maybe 10 to 15 clinical trials that I found out about by conducting a research. And what I found interesting is that on this Washington database, this is the database, for the United States of America, they weren't listed as a clinical trial study. And I found that very interesting. very interesting. And even when I called one of the clinics to ask, because I was asking, I said, can you direct me to a site, local, somewhere where I can go to keep updated on clinical trials and what's going on? There is none. There is no local database, which I found incredulous as well. So, and then also just meeting, people. I was very just this is a personal thing. I was very very interested and excited about joining a group, um, to begin, working, and sisters sharing, brothers sharing. And I guess, one thing. Well, when I reached before years ago, when I was looking for information and trying to contact NGOs regarding domestic violence, I found that interesting, that not many people were going to return your phone calls. I found the same thing here. So, and that really pivoted me to say, okay, I need to be a voice, because how many people either are have been diagnosed and looking for a support group, looking for something, some type of answers outside of their doctor, because we don't, everybody doesn't, one person doesn't know everything. So we need a village, a community. And I found that it's it can be much warmer and more welcoming. So this is that was one of my motivations to say, okay, well, let me step up. Let me, it's one of those, let there be peace and let it begin with me. Well, okay, so this is not happening. So let there be a voice, another voice, and let it begin with me. So if you'd like to join me, I would absolutely love it. I really would. It is 8:16, so I am going to sign out. Again, the group is autoimmunity. And it's connected with empowerment and spoken word poetry, a Help to Heal Foundation. I'm the founder of that. And within the empowerment and spoken word poetry, we have advocacy, culture, arts, and philanthropy. And the advocacy component is the one of the advocacy causes that we support, is the rare disease. All right. So I thank you so much. I thank you so much. And I'm grateful for you for taking the time to listen. If you have any questions, even if you want to call me, 313-605-8220. And if you want to stand with me and be a voice, absolutely, praise God. I'd love to stand with you. Okay. All right. So we know the journey in self recovery is absolutely beautiful. And I know, I hope you know, so beautiful, both he and she. So are you. All right. Blessings. And thank you so much again.